Hi, good morning, and happy Wednesday, happy February. I just want to give you a few notes about what you're going to be working on today. By now, you should have already done your daily geography, and the next part of class is going to be used to finish up our group work from yesterday. So remember, we're finishing reading chapter 3. Some of you are working on that vocabulary, which should be in a shared Google Doc with the rest of your group. The other half of you are working on those comprehension questions, and this part will be a little different from yesterday. Instead of leaving you behind those little pieces of paper, I have them typed up on a Google Doc, which I have on the homeless bird page on Haiku. The last question is really the spoiler question of the group. So I did put that on a separate page with a warning that if you read ahead, it will spoil what happens in the chapter for you. I did add a few questions at the end of the document. Those are to be finished after you finish reading the chapter with your group. You should work on those in your group as well. Please just add them to the piece of paper that you started with the questions yesterday. First period, this is a little bit different for you. What I have asked the other classes to do is record the answers to those questions on a piece of notebook paper. So if you need one, you know you can find one at the back of the room by the supplies by my desk. You don't need complete sentences, and you only need one piece of paper for your whole group. I did suggest that people working on questions should take turns doing the writing on that sheet of paper. So then tomorrow I will check in that your vocab is done as a group, and I will also check in that your questions on the piece of paper are done as a group. And that should close out chapter 3. So once you're done with that, we are going to move on to chapter 4. And chapter 4 is going to be a individual chapter. So you're going to be reading this one on your own today. And what I would like you to do is kind of some annotating, but since we're not going to write in the books, I'm going to leave behind a whole bunch of Post-it notes. And I would like you to take some of those. I'll leave them on the front table. And as you're reading, if you have a thought or a prediction or a comment, I want you just to jot that down on a Post-it note and put it in the book on the page that your question or comment applies to. So by the end of chapter 4, I want at least 3 comments from you and 3 questions. They could be questions about what happened, like you didn't understand something, or they could be like a discussion question that you want to ask the class. Another option for your questions would be like a question that you would want to ask the character if you had a chance. Like, let's say you have a question for Coley about a choice she made. You could write that on a Post-it note and put it in your book as well. So whatever is not done in class is your homework. So it's just reading chapter 4 and adding some Post-it notes. So you should have at least 3 comments, at least 3 questions, a total of 6 Post-it notes throughout chapter 4. Remember to take some of them home with you if you need some. I think I left enough on the front table for everybody to have at least 6. If you do finish early, number 1, I would make sure that you've carefully read the whole chapter. When you get to class tomorrow, there's going to be an entrance slip first thing for you to answer some questions about your reading from chapter 4. So if you want to just go back quickly and make sure you were a careful reader, that would definitely help you out tomorrow. If that's all said and done and you still have some extra time, I know most of you will have to work on some current events for this quarter, so I would suggest getting started on that. If there's even extra time beyond that, just make sure you check in with the sub and let them know you're done, and they'll give you some info. Feel free to rewatch the video if you need to refresh yourself on some directions. If you've been absent yesterday or the day before, hopefully you've looked on Haiku and kept up with some of our readings so you could join a group. If not, and you're behind in your reading, you're probably going to have to spend some time in the hallway catching up. So check in with your groups. I'm sure they can help you out with that too. Other than that, I think that's everything. I hope it's a great day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.